How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel.
I hope you're all well.
So I've got something slightly different planned for today's video. I wanted to actually dedicate this video to some of the beginners who might be watching and go over some ways that you can actually improve your work as quick as possible as a beginner. I think it's always very jarring and very frustrating for beginners because you've got so many different people online, especially on social media, giving all kinds of conflicting advice. Especially those guys on TikTok. I think they should be fucking banned from giving any kind of information or any advice on beginners on how to progress, because I've heard some genuinely horrendous shit come from these guys, and I think most of the advice they give is harmful rather than helpful. But again, that's my own personal opinion on the matter. But with that being said, I don't consider myself to be a professional or a pro by any means, but I have been doing this painting thing for a few years now, and I feel like I've made some decent progress, and I just wanted to share some things that I feel like have helped me on my own personal journey. So really the first thing that you should probably ask yourself is like, what kind of artist is it that you want to be, and what kind of work is it that you want to create for yourself and for your audience and everyone else. Now, it is quite hard to answer that question, especially at the beginning, because again, you might not really know what kind of artist it is that you want to be, or the kind of work it is that you want to put out, or even if it's something that you want to pursue as a full-time career. So really my best advice to those people is going to be, ask yourself who kind of inspires you as of this moment. Like, is there any actual artist that you are currently looking up to at the moment, and take a look at some of their work. If their work is something that genuinely interests you and you feel like you want to create something similar to that, then I feel like that kind of answers that question, and that would be probably the best place for you to start. Okay, but as time goes on, your taste is going to change and it is going to develop, and you might not really be interested in creating the same thing anymore. But don't worry about that too much in the beginning, because really at the start we're just focusing on taking those first steps and actually trying to improve as fast as possible. So yeah, once you've done all of that, once you know what you want, then you kind of just have to develop the skills to actually get there and then put in the mileage and the practice. But on the topic of mileage and practice and drawing every day, general practice itself is something that will help you to improve. But in my honest opinion, I feel like the practice that you put in needs to be actually practical, and it has to be in line with your goals and the goals that you've set. So practicing something that you're not even really interested in and something that doesn't actually align with your goals can be considered wasted practice and maybe even wasted time. So for example, if you're someone who's really interested in painting environments and that's something that you want to create, spending the majority of your time, doing anatomy studies or painting figures, doing gesture drawing, figure drawing because someone on fucking Reddit told you to do that, that's really not going to be the best use of your time, because how are you going to actually put those skills into painting better environments and painting better landscapes? So you should really be spending more of your time focusing on things like perspective or landscape studies, learning how to paint a fucking rock or like a tree or a cloud or mountains or things along that nature. So really practice itself, I don't really ever believe that practice is wasted, but there's times to practice certain things and there's also times that you should not be painting certain things and you should be focusing on things that will actually help you to move towards your goals. So really the whole first step in your art journey is really just trying to find out your own personal direction, your own personal sense of purpose, the type of work that interests you, the work that you want to put out for yourself and for everyone else, and then just taking those necessary steps and the necessary action to just move you towards that goal and focusing on those things. Okay, so for tip number 2, this is for all of the people who say you shouldn't copy or don't copy because it'll make your art worse. I don't know who created this fucking myth. It's been around for a long time, especially when I was a beginner. There were so many different people saying this shit, saying that you shouldn't copy, it's going to make you worse, you won't learn how to actually create art or create better art, all you'll be is a copying machine. I think it's such a big myth and it's something that needs to be put to bed. I don't know if people still say it, but I think it was worth including into the video. Most people who tend to give this advice aren't even professional artists and probably don't even have multiple years of experience under their belts, so they're not the people that you really should be listening to. So really on the whole topic of why you should copy, most beginners, like if you're a beginner who's listening to this, you probably don't even have the skills to create something from memory or something that is completely original, because you just don't have the skills, you don't have the know-how, you don't have the fundamentals, you don't know how to actually communicate what you have in your head with your audience and with everyone else. So that's not to discourage you, that's just the reality. At the start, you don't know how to do things. You need to learn how to do things properly and efficiently, and then you'll be able to communicate your ideas, and you can actually contribute and create something that is original for people to enjoy and to look at. Again, if you're someone who's spending all of your time, if you don't practice, and if you're someone who's spending majority of your time trying to create something original and you don't have the skills to do so, then it can just lead to a bunch of confidence issues and a bunch of self-doubt, because you have a certain idea in your head, but when you're looking at it on paper or on screen, once you've kind of fleshed out the idea and it's not something that you like to look at, then that's just gonna kind of fuck with you mentally, because you know, the ideal perception of what you have in your head of the idea or what you want to create, that's not going to be what's representative in your image or the things that you're creating, because you just don't have the skills to do that. This is why copying is so important, because when you copy, you can actually you can get better as time goes on, and it's a great way for you to improve. It's kind of like a cheat or like a quick hack for you to get better. So you should try and copy as many different things as you can, alongside learning the fundamentals of art and the fundamentals of painting and design, so you can really understand what it is that you're copying. Also, you should copy pro artist drawing. I know people say that, oh, if you were to copy something, only copy things in nature or things in reality, but I think you should copy pro artists as well. Like, you should copy some of their work. Again, don't be a dickhead, don't actually post their stuff as your own, because that's just plagiarism and it's illegal to do that as well. But yeah, copy pro artists, copy the artists that you look up to, and the reason why you should do it is because when you copy their work, that is a good way for you to understand how that specific artist actually interprets reality, and how they simplify complex subjects and complex ideas into something that is readable and something that is appealing for you and the audience. So you kind of get a little bit of a glimpse into their mind and to how their mind works and how they're interpreting information and how they're able to create that specific piece of art. So again, the whole thing about copying, I think it's very hard to put in lots of mileage on something and to not improve. You have to be pretty fucking stupid for that to happen to you. Like, it's very hard for you to put in a lot of work and to do a lot of copying and not to actually improve as an artist. So especially when you combine that with direction and, you know, with learning the fundamentals, you can improve very quickly. So don't listen to these people who say you shouldn't copy, or copying is going to be bad for your art or it's detrimental. It's a bunch of fucking cope. Like, you don't really need to listen to them. I don't know if people still say that anymore. Maybe they're saying the opposite, but I thought that was valid, and it's something that should be included in this video and in some of these tips and tricks. Alright, so moving on from my little rant about why you should copy, the next tip that we're going to discuss is understanding your specific medium, or understanding your software or your program that you use. So this tip is mainly going to be for the digital artist, but it can also be applied to traditional artists as well, especially if you're transitioning from traditional art to digital art yourself. Now, I remember when I first started drawing and painting, I was doing mostly sketching traditionally for about 1 or 2 years, and then I transitioned over to digital art. And one of the biggest humps for me was just transitioning and trying to get used to digital and the software and using the tablet and the pen and all of that stuff. And it was so fucking painful just trying to understand how layers work and the different brushes and the settings and keyboard shortcuts. All of that stuff was such an issue for me, and I almost got to a point where I was like, fuck this, I'm just going straight back to you know, regular sketching on pen and paper. But then I saw like a lot painting, and I thought I should probably lock in and give it a try. But yeah, that's really one of the biggest humps for most people is that transition from from traditional to digital art, and getting used to all of the softwares and the change in your workflow. That's really the hardest part for most beginners. So really what I wanted to discuss here was that the more that you understand your software deeply and how to use your specific painting software as quick as you can, the more you can just focus on the important things like practice and creating art, experimenting, drawing and painting the things that you actually like and enjoy. So yeah, your favorite artists, they're extremely quick at using their softwares, and they've developed sort of like a workflow that is suitable for them. Again, the workflow is going to vary. Like some people like painting in a certain way, others like painting in another. But that is more on an individual basis, and you'll probably figure more of that out the more you get used to painting in your software and the more you experiment. They also understand where their softwares will excel and where their softwares have limitations as well. So like they'll know when it's time to use 3D or when it's time to use Clip Studio over Photoshop, or like the other way around. So the software itself it's not really that much of an issue. Like which software you can use Photoshop, Clip Studio, Microsoft Paint, even if you want to. But really what you should be doing is that you should be spending more time in that software, even though it's frustrating and it's hard for you, like you might be transitioning or whatever. Spend as much time as you can in that software, experiment, try to get better at using keyboard shortcuts, understanding the different settings, the different systems, how layers work, different blending modes. Most of the softwares kind of interlap, like they all basically do the same thing. There's just very minor differences between each of them. But regardless of which software you choose, you should just be experimenting and trying to learn how to use that software as quick and as best as you can. That way you can just focus on, creating some really sick artwork and some shit that you enjoy and other people would enjoy as well. Now, the final thing I just want to cover in this video, it's a bit generic, it's a little bit of a cheap point, but I think it has to be discussed. It's like the elephant in the room. It's all about hard work and volume. So I used to have a teacher in school who used to teach me physics, and he always used to say to me was that there is no substitute for hard work. Now that's like fucking real, bro. Real shit. Like there is no substitute for hard work. Hard work is undeniable. It's something that you will have to do at some point, especially when you're learning a new skill and you're coming from such a beginner level and you're trying to work towards your favorite illustrators and your favorite artists that you admire. If you're trying to get to their level, it's going to be a lot of hard work that you're going to have to look forward to. So really, on that note, your favorite artists that you're looking up to, they're better than you and they probably still draw more than you. Again, it's not something to be discouraged by. It's simply just reality. Like, it's something that you have to understand, that you are at a certain point in your journey. It's absolutely fine. You're a beginner. We were all a beginner at a certain point. Your favorite artists were all beginners at a certain point. And there's a level of hard work that you will need to be putting in to bridge that gap. So if you find yourself as someone who struggles with a lot of discipline and someone who's easily discouraged by what others have to say and their criticisms, you just have to understand that everything takes time. Like, everything will always take time, and everything is difficult in the beginning. Nothing is easy at the start. It's like learning a language. That's really what art is. Art is just a form of language. It's a form of visual communication. And just the same way, like, if you don't know how to speak Chinese or something, it's going to be hard at the beginning. You have to learn their like culture and how they speak and their words and all that shit. Like, you have to learn how to speak their language. It is going to be difficult at the start. This same thing with art. It's like learning a different language. You have to learn how to communicate in said language. So there's really no right or wrong way to go about anything. There's no right or wrong way to go about your progress. Don't ever listen to anyone who says there is a right or wrong way to go about learning how to paint, learning how to draw, learning how to become a concept artist or a designer or an illustrator. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They're talking out of their ass. Like, there's no right or wrong way to go about anything. And everyone has something unique that they can offer, and your time will come. Just because, like, you want to do anime, for example. Like, anime is a good example because there's so many different anime artists and, like, people who are inspired by manga and comic books and anime and all of that sort of thing. Like, what's the point learning how to draw if anime is already a thing and people are better than you? You have something unique that you can offer to your audience and to the people who enjoy your artwork. There's going to be a way that you interpret information, a way that you draw, a style that you draw in, and that's something that you can uniquely offer to those people. And your time will come, your success will come, your improvement and your profession will come. You just have to give it some time Everything takes time in the beginning and everything is always difficult at the start, but that shouldn't discourage you from putting in the work and doing what needs to be done. So really that's kind of what I wanted to say about that. You just need to be patient, you just need to work hard, and remember to always create the art that you like. Don't ever let anyone say that you should be painting this thing or you should paint that thing or you should follow certain trends. Even in the age of social media, when everyone's trying to pump out things quickly and we're looking to make things optimal, take some time, slow down, focus on what is important to you and what matters to you, and focus on getting better and creating the art that you want to see and that you want to put into the world. Okay guys, that's pretty much everything I wanted to discuss in this video. Obviously there is more things that we can go over that would help you as a beginner and really ramp up your progress, but I'll probably save those for another discussion or another video in the future. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you took something away that was valuable and would help you on your own personal journey. That would make me very happy. And if you've got any suggestions for future videos, any feedback, please also let me know. And please like, subscribe, comment, share with your friends, and I hope I see you in the next one. Take care.